What I want to walk through is kind of how to forecast tops. And I like to use prior tops to forecast new tops. So it all starts with the square of nine. And I'm going to use the square of nine inner over here. And this guy is anchored to the 2018 January top. Um, and one of the things I'll point out is just how good this is at forecasting future tops. So the way this is configured, it's scaled at price per cell of zero point 0.1. Um, and this gives us more price lines. The timelines remain unchanged, but the price lines are denser because of that. And what I want to call to your attention here is how good these levels are at identifying tops. Um, and look at that perfect square out right on the um, COVID top. So we also have another square out here in September 2018. So these square outs where time and price comes together, and even this one where it doesn't dump, instead it indicates kind of a period of consolidation before moving up. These are all very, very good. And this we get a square out here, which is kind of the first real correction low in the post-COVID move up. So very good square out levels here, anchored to that 2018 high, and it just continues as you walk through the data set. When it switches from identifying highs to identifying lows over here, it looks like a real changing character in the market, and that signified the 2022 bear market. And then again, we've got a very strong call over here on the bottom. These price lines identify the top here in January, here, and here. So super good levels coming from this. This is why it's still on my chart. And one of the things you're going to see me do a little bit more of going forward is making use of the cash indexes like SPX and NDX. And one of the reasons why is that historical prices don't change. When you use the continuous futures contract, then what happens is historical prices do get updated as time goes by to basically stitch together the different contracts. So that becomes a problem. I don't feel like redoing my charts all the time. So I'm going to be using the cash a little bit more, especially for some of these longer term forecasts. And again, you can see the tops here are just insanely good. And we just had another top over here on January 24th. So zooming in, we can see that the low last Monday, after that big gap down, was right on one of these price levels again. Okay. So we closed, of course, right on one of these price levels on SPX last week. So let's continue to build out the chart. What I want to show next is a Gann fan, and this fan is anchored to the top here. And the way I anchor these is I basically go from square out to square out. So I use the first price line and the first timeline as one point, and then I gradually go up to the second of each, and the third of each, and the fourth of each, and the fifth of each, and the sixth of each, and repeat. And the where we are right now is the second point on the Gann fan is anchored over here to May 15th, because this is where the square outs are. Now, one of the enhancements I want to make, because it's not a great use of time to be counting lines, is I want to put a little indicator on the potential square out levels here so that you can find those quickly and easily without having to count them. So that's something that's going to be coming soon. So what do we see here? Well, we can see some very good touches on this Gann fan, and especially in the middle of the market. Like this caught the top prior to the COVID high really well, caught these levels over here, caught these levels here, and also, again, to what we were talking about, takes a lot of energy to break one of these one by one. So you can see here how it gapped down and then it gapped over, and this is really uh, the kickoff to the official kickoff to the most recent bull market and bull run. So that's a very good Gann fan. So let's keep moving forward here. And what I want to show is kind of the next square of nine in Gann fan. And again, this is anchored to the pre-COVID top. And the same scaling, 0.1. And we can see here how some of these Gann fan levels over here provided great support at the bottom of the 2022 bear market. Okay. But we don't have a lot of fans up here interacting with price at the moment. Okay. So I'll show you how we get around that shortly. Next square of nine is anchored to the bottom. So this should be slightly better at identifying lows. And we see it here nailing the 2022 bear market low. But we also see it catching the 2021, the late 2021 high as well. And it's caught both the recent highs and lows over here. So this is still very good. And this one by one is very close to price right now. So this is another excellent confirmation level. And we've got that anchored right to this. Let's make a little adjustment here, right to this intersection level right here. Okay. So that's a good combination to have on your chart if you're looking for confirmation levels that are slightly longer term. Next one we're going to look at is the 2022 high. This is just before the inflation-driven bear market of 2022. And we can see how these fans here provided support throughout the bull market of 2024. And again, we've got some great levels here. We can see how 6101 on SPX has been a very difficult resistance level for price to get through. And of course, that's a square of nine level here. So any sort of change in trend, I think, would be confirmed with separation below the next square of nine level at about 6,003. Okay. And I think we've got one more to go here. So let's take a look at that. This is the 2022 low. Okay. And one of the things I'll point out about, you might look at this and go, well, the low should really be over here. Personally, I like to anchor the fans and the square of nine to the low of the bar with the lowest close. So this is the bar with the lowest close. This next bar had a lower low, but it had a fairly high close. So that's why it's anchored here on October 12th and not here October 13th. Okay. So that's just personal preference. I want you to understand that logic, though. And we can see some great levels and a Gann square of nine coming up here, or sorry, a Gann fan level that provided some great support coming up here. And look at these time factors and how they've been indicating some really important time periods, tagging pivots within a couple of days. So that is, I think, a good solid review of how to make the most of the square of nine. As far as now, one of the things you'll notice that I did is I used the sun as the time factor in all of these. Okay. And I'll show you a quick way to identify some other potential planets that could be influencing price. And I'm making use of AstroSeek here. There's um, an interesting tab here called dominance, and I think I shared this last week as well. And if you put in the date of birth or the natal date of your stock or index, it will calculate the dominant planets at that moment. So this is using 10 a.m. On February 1971, which is the natal date of the NDX or the Nasdaq index. And we can see here how the dominant planets that combine multiple factors together are Mercury, Jupiter, Neptune, and the Moon and Pluto are kind of fourth and fifth here. So we can use this information to inform our choice of planets over here. And I'm going to show an example that uses Planetary Gann Fans instead of the standard trading view Gann Fans. And we've switched over to NDX, okay? And I'm going to go through a couple of examples here. Now, again, anchoring to recent major pivots in the last 5 years, let's take a look at the square of nine inner. Okay, so this is anchored to the most recent major high in November 2021. And we can see how the time factors here have been super successful in identifying major pivots. Okay, the next time factor is coming in on April 30th. All right, so let's go through these Gann fans, and I'm going to walk through how these Gann fans are created, starting with the pre-COVID high. And I'm instead of using the TradingView standard Gann fan script, which draws straight lines, I'm using the information from AstroSeek, and I'm just choosing the dominant planets identified here, Mercury, Jupiter, Neptune, and then also the moon and sun. So we've got Mercury here, we've got moon sun synodic that captures the lunar phase. And I've scaled it so that it interacts with price. Now, this is something you cannot do with the standard TradingView scripts. You do need to, I guess, go through a little bit of manual tuning here to come up with these numbers. There's no secret to it. All I wanted to do is to kind of get the lines interacting with price. Okay. So a little bit of trial and error identifies that. And we can just kind of zoom out here and take a look at how these are working. So again, orange is Mercury, and we can see how that provided good support, and gray is Moon Sun Synodic. And those are the only two lines coming out here. And these have provided excellent guardrails for price, even down here at the low. And if I were to adjust these values down here a little bit, maybe make it lower 2.5 instead of 0.5. So there, I've shifted these things down a little bit. And you can see pretty quickly how that Mercury level provided support right at the late 2022 low. So super useful technique, and it allows for a level of customization that simply isn't available using the standard TradingView using these standard trading view fans. And we can see over here how the breakout level is confirmed once price got above the Mercury line and stayed above the Mercury line. That was a signal that the bull market was on. And then we commenced the bull market and started moving up. So where does that leave us right now? Well, we've got a combination of Moon Sun Synodic and Mercury Helio Gann Fan right below price. We can see it made a stick save back on Monday, January 13th. This was the I think this was the DeepSeek panic low on that Monday. DeepSeek came out that weekend and everyone started dumping NVIDIA. So these are some very good lines to have on your chart to provide some confirmation level. Once we get a breakdown below this, then yeah, that's a major changing character of the market. Okay. So that is Ganfan inner current. Let's take a look at outer planets. Okay, so here we have Ganfan outer current. Again, this is anchored to the pre-COVID high, February 19th. We've got Jupiter, we've got Saturn. I'm including Saturn even though it wasn't a highly influential planet simply because Jupiter and Saturn are square at the moment. They're at about 90 degrees offset. Okay. So if we go over here and take a look at um, Ganfan outer current, we've got Jupiter, we've got Saturn. They're the two biggest planets in the system. We also have the synodic pair. And we've got Jupiter, Neptune, because Neptune is one of the most dominant planets on the natal chart. So, where does that leave us? Well, we can see here how Jupiter is providing some pretty strong support over here. This blue line, which is Jupiter, Neptune, synodic, that's providing resistance. So again, even though these slower planets are they're providing the slower planets, as you can see here, they're providing some very significant levels. Any break of these levels should not be ignored. And again, nothing special on the scaling. I like to use multiples of 180 here for the standard scaling. This is what affects the basically all of the fans, and then you can fine tune each of the fans individually using these numbers. You can disable certain fans by setting them to 0. And this is what we're using here on this chart. Your mileage may vary, of course, and you're free to customize all of these, unlike the standard TradingView script. One of my favorite examples of the power of this technique is to see here this tap on the Jupiter-Neptune synodic line, penetrates through the next one down, recovers a bit, and then we get kind of like a correction back to this line before it finally provides support over here in October. So that's a great example of how these lines provide super strong guardrails on price. Okay, so that's just two examples there. Let's go to the next example. We've got another high over here at the 2021 high. And again, we're using the same planets. We've got Mercury, Moon, Sun, Synodic, and these are tuned to interact with price. And you can see here how this double combination of Mercury and Moon, Sun, Synodic provided resistance, 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 and then when it finally breaks through and separates above, that confirms the bottom is in. So super powerful technique here. These are the scaling factors that I'm using. But yeah, again, you're welcome to dial it in as you prefer. Okay, now we can scroll forward in time and we can see what's going on up here. And we have actually a very tight mercury helio level, Gann fan level, extending up from the 2021 high. And we can see how the Moon Sun Synodic provided super strong support here. And this mercury helio level provided significant resistance twice before breaking through, but its price has really kind of oscillated around it. It hasn't been respecting it much lately. So and it's kind of questionable how much support this is providing here anymore. I don't think it's providing much at all. The next support here that I would see from this line would come from Moon Sun Synodic or lunar phase, which is down here at like 20,200. Okay. Um, Now I've got one more to show, and of course that's the longer term ones. So these are the same planets as before: Jupiter, Saturn, Synodic, Jupiter, Neptune Synodic. And we can see here how these Gann fans have also provided significant support and resistance. If we zoom in here, we can see how um, this line, which I think is Jupiter Neptune Synodic. Let's make that one blue so it's a little clearer. Jupiter Neptune Synodic provided spectacular support as price was emerging from that bear market, and also provided important levels on the way up. So definitely not, this is not a combination to be ignored. Uh, just every interaction with that Jupiter Neptune Synodic has been important. So this is where we are right now. And again, we can see this brown line, which is Saturn, providing some support here. That line is on NDX on Monday at 21,000, or sorry, here's Monday, 21,150 about. So that is an important level here, 21,132. Yep, that's a better estimate of that level. So yeah, we can. I love these longer term Gann fans. I love the customizability of these Gann fans. If you're not using these, I would highly recommend them. If you prefer the convenience and the speed of working with the standard trading view Gann fans, that's fine too. I think the recent learning, the key takeaway here is take advantage of this dominant planet calculator on AstroSeek. You can put in the natal date of whatever you want to trade, whether it's a currency or a crypto or an individual stock. And this will guide you to the planets that are most influential on that stock, and then you can very quickly visualize them using the Time Trades Toolkit.